Well, how long has it been? Well, if we're talking about videos, it's been a while. And there's a reason for that, but I got a little challenge for you and a story. So stick with me on the other side here, and we'll gather up in the 100-acre woods, and we'll tell a story and have a little get together. Here we go. Hey, look there, I found our spot. Now I just got to get in it. Welcome back to a rather blustery and warm day here at the 100-acre woods. This is Randy, RagamuffinPiper. What are your best intentions? Well, depends on your mood, probably, right? What am I talking about there? Kind of depends. Got my Rattray, my green Fatchin. Now this is a great pipe. It's one of my favorites, y'all know. And I got some HH Latakia Flake in there from McBaron. As usual, I've let my supply dwindle down to almost nothing, so I'm breaking out stuff right and left, trying to go, hey, do I like that or not? It's been a while since we've been here, so sit on down, pour yourself a cup of coffee or grab some tea and join me for a few minutes. We're gonna talk. The dog days of summer done got me, I'll tell you that for sure. My English teacher would be so proud of that sentence. No, more things to do than I got time to do, and I don't feel like doing most of them. That's what it comes to. But sometimes you can make those things you got to do into some projects, and maybe you could share them with somebody else. And that's what I'm gonna get at here today. I got something fun for you. Last week, I didn't make videos for a few days now, and so we had our kids here for about a week, and it was a lot of fun. The grandkids were here and everything, but my son, he's a collector sometimes, probably kind of like his dad. And some lady gave him a bunch of little yard stuff that he collected, and he thought he seen this one piece, and he thought, I think that Dad would like this. So he made a trip all the way here. Now that's about 1,100 miles. He towed this thing on a trailer and brought it to me. Mind you, it don't run, or it didn't run. He didn't even know if it would run. But we unloaded that thing, and I'll show you here. We unloaded that thing, and we got a little time in the afternoon one day, and we went to work on it. We had to take the gas tank apart and everything else under the sun, and spark plugs and tires, and the wheels wouldn't go on it anymore. When you say project, that's that. You look that up in the dictionary, it shows a picture of this little thing. But we worked on it and we got it running, and it's kind of a novelty, as best I can say. But we spent some time together, and the grandkids were there, and I'll show you what ended up happening. I was doing some serious gardening work yesterday. It's about as serious as I get, And I thought, well, this thing will be handy. Instead of using the loader, I'll put it out there and I can fill this dude up. You see all these weeds I'm pulling and everything? Made a big load out of it, and I just took that thing out in the field and dumped it. So Josh, I got to use the little warthog, and I've made some good use out of it. But the moral of the story, for those of you sitting here going, what's he rambling on about? Well, if you've been here very many times at all, you'll know that rambling is probably the main theme here. The moral of the story is we spent some time together. I used to have a friend that told me, you know, you'll hear in your life that your kids want quality time. Spend quality time with your kids. And this was an old guy. And he told me, he said, your kids don't really care that much about how quality it is. Your kids want quantity time. Now, I'll define that for you. There are some parents out there that tend to just kind of ignore their kids. They send them to school, they send them to preschool, they put them in bed, and they don't spend a lot of time with them. So they make up for it by taking them to Disneyland or taking them to the park, once a month or once a year or whatever it is. You know, they plan a big party or a big to-do and think that makes up for the fact that they haven't been there for everyday things. And that's what he meant. Kids want quantity, not quality. They want you around. So we spent some quantity time together working on this old hunk of junk, and it actually turned out pretty good. It runs. We're not done with it yet, but they all went home, and I'm completely wore out. Hey, you chase a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old around for a week. No, we just tried to get as much good fun in as we could. But your best intention sometime is to do this or do that. I can say one thing about my dad. My dad worked late. He worked in construction. He almost never missed a baseball game when I was growing up, Little League and all that kind of stuff. It was always there. Play catch for me after he had worked a 10-hour day. He'd come home and play catch with me in the yard to work on this or work on that or batting or something. My mom was kind of the same way. Now, you might not have had good parents, and we're not just talking about kids here, right? We're talking about friends. We're talking about spouse. We're talking about people that maybe you just need to find a way to get out and have some fun. And that's where the problem lies in my book, is what's fun? Well, sometimes it's stacking wood, right? We're having fun. We're just chucking pieces of wood in the woodshed, or maybe we go fishing, and I've been known not to even put bait on the hook. Because the worst day fishing is better than the best day at work, right? Right. You may be a new parent, or you may have had kids for a long time. You may be messing with grandkids or great-grandkids. I got to get my mouth to actually produce the words here. I think that way of thinking, spending quantity time with somebody is more than just kids, more than just family. I mean, yes, we need quality time. You need to do something good, you know. But don't get hung up on that. Sometimes just hanging out. You might play video games together. You might go outside and work in the garden together. Heck, I remember back when we used to live closer to where there were malls and stuff, wanting to go to the mall and just walk through the mall, you know. Guys, hide your wallet. There's no telling. It's just what's fun to you. So I spent some quantity time with the grandkids and the son and the daughter. Man, I tell you, my daughter, she made a bunch of baked goods because she knows we've been on a nutrition plan, losing some weight. I think she was trying to crash the whole thing. She's quite the baker, so yeah, we spent some good time. Too hot to have a porch fire, though. It's a perfect day right here. I could sit right here for a long time. Treetops are moving, and it's not very hot yet. Not going to be too hot of a day here. all you out there that's over 100, I feel for you. Been there, done that, not doing it again. So here's to you. Well, the garden, you know, the garden's starting to come along. I always get a kick out of all the videos and pictures that I see of other people's garden. They start getting all this stuff they're eating and pulling out of their garden. You know, they start getting their vegetables probably what June, 1st of June, middle of June, and I'm sitting here with my plants are about 6 inches tall. We have a short growing period here. We have maybe a little shorter summer than some of the southern states. So you can't plant outside too early, and so that ends up making our harvest come later. But boy, last night I got me some good squash. Look at this right here. Yes, sir. I got a whole pan of squash, and did I eat it? I did. And that goes back to what I've talked about before. My dad used to take me out in the garden, and we would plant plants. Planes, trains, and automobiles around here at the Hidden D. They know when I'm filming. I'd pick berries with Mom, or, you know, tomatoes and squash with Dad, and I don't think there's any replacing that time that you spend together doing something, especially when you're doing something that's productive and you can eat it or enjoy it somehow. You know, you're making something. Maybe you work on the car with your boys, or moms, sit down and read a book to the kids. Or I remember my mom would sit there and just have conversations. You know, I had questions, she had answers. Just ask. Just ask her. She had an answer. Not always. So spending some time alone and relaxing and catching up with your thoughts, and maybe just, you know, calming your mind and all that, that's a good thing sometimes. I do that a lot. But spending time with the people that are important to you, that's important too. I guess you can't really do that well unless you spend that time alone and get your mind right. You do that first, you know, because you need to go into those relationships with a spirit of giving. You need to be generous with your time. See, generosity doesn't just talk about money, right? People say, oh, that's a very generous person. And often we think, oh, they give a lot of money. No. The most kind, most generous, and the people I remember the most were not those who gave money. Let me say that again. In my life, the people that I remember as the most generous were not those who gave a lot of money. They were the people who gave a lot of time. They listened, or they served somehow. Always willing to stop or to come alongside and listen. Talk. Maybe have a thought when it's necessary, but they cared enough to stop and listen. That's generosity. Maybe that's a good thought for us. You know, how much time do you listen? Generosity is a two-way street. It makes somebody else have a good day, and it makes you feel good too to give. So don't think you have to give something of super high quality. Sometimes generosity is just quantity. The more you do it, the more people benefit from it. Kind of goes along with the first part of what we were saying, doesn't it? Yep, it does. There was a lady back years ago when I was a kid growing up in church, and her name was Miss Living Good. And how is it in life that names can often be very descriptive of how the people are? We had a dentist back in the town where we used to live. Her name was Dr. Drilling. Yeah, I think I've told you that before. But Miss Living Good, man, she did live good. And you know what? She didn't have much of anything really to her name. But what she had was time, and she gave it abundantly. Even though she was in her 70s and 80s, hey. Even though she was in her 70s and 80s when I knew her, she spent a lot of time. And you know what? She did the things that nobody else wanted to do. She would go to the church and clean the bathrooms. Now, she's almost 80 years old, and she would be done. And nobody knew that. Nobody. She didn't want any praise for it. That's kind of a nice thing when you're generous, isn't it? Just do it, and you'll know you did it. Well, thanks for stopping in at the 100 Acre Woods, and I really appreciate you being here. Hit the like button or subscribe if you want to come back and join me for a few of these rambles in the woods. Maybe we should do a series called Rambles in the Woods. I think that's done already. But make it the best day yet. Find a way to be generous, and make your best intention intentional. All right? Sometimes you have to do it. You have to make a plan. You have to decide to do something, especially if it's different for you. You got to make a change in your attitude somehow or whatever, and you got to actually intentionally try. I have to do that all the time. My wife watches this video, she's going to be shaking her head the whole time. What? Are you listening to yourself? She asks me that every once in a while. You need to go back and watch your video. Yep, she does. So make it the best day yet, and make somebody else's day a good one too. We'll see you next time. This is Randy, and this is the RagamuffinPiper. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.